Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Intelligent Community, the podcast of the Intelligent Community Forum. I'm Lou Zaccarella, one of the founders of ICF. Today, we continue our series, Policing the Intelligent Community, and we are coming to you from a very, very special city. But first, this series is brought to you by the ICF affiliate organizations in Canada and Taiwan, and by the member cities and organizations of ICF, including our newest member, the city of Estevan, Saskatchewan, Canada, and we welcome them. Last time we spoke with one of America's leading crime reporters and a native son of Brooklyn, James Quealy, who now writes for the LA Times. Today we're going to go to Europe, along the shores of the Gulf of Finland and the Baltic Sea, to learn about policing in a city where an application for a rifle for the purpose of self-protection and the protection of property must be at least 21 years old and must appear for a medical examination. Want to know more about this city? Well, I do. Because in October 2020, after 6 tries, Tallinn, Estonia, the nation's capital and a city known for its technology advances, was named the world's most intelligent community of the year. The city manager of this city, with 440,000 citizens, Mr. T. Tarek, accepted the award with customary modesty. But it was not a surprise. For more than 20 years, Tallinn has been a leader in providing digital services globally and using them in everyday life at home. Its intelligent government solutions are widely recognized as part of the e-Estonia concept, which is followed in many places. The city's vibrant startup scene has given birth to unicorns and continuous innovations, and the city is a testing ground for self-driving buses and robots that deliver stuff. So the past weeks, people have been asking me, how about its policing? Can an intelligent community with awesome government technologies, a high quality of life, a free society, one where robots deliver pizza, we'll check that fact, be an effective, trusted, and safe place too? Today we're going to find out. And with me are Mr. Martin Maniel, the City of Tallinn's Chief of Digital Services, and a special guest, Mr. Roland Seek, who is the head of the Patrol and Surveillance Unit in the Tallinn Municipal Police Department. He has been working there at the Tallinn Municipal Police Department for the past 14 years. And they're going to help you and me learn about policing in the Intelligent Community of the Year, Tallinn, Estonia. So gentlemen, welcome to the Intelligent Community.
Hello and greetings from Tallinn.
Yes, well, how are things in Tallinn today?
Good, good. It's a bit colder than it should be at this time of year, but our C-19 situation is getting rapidly better, so we are quite hopeful that the weather will follow.
Well, our fingers are crossed on that. I have to ask a question though. I said that robots deliver pizza in Tallinn. Is that true? Or did I make that up?
No, that's true.
It is true.
It is
okay.
True.
So you people in the world just heard it. Another reason to go there. Well, again, I appreciate you both making the time. And I want to start by asking some basic questions because, as I said, we're doing a series on policing in intelligent communities around the world. First of all, how large is the Tallinn police force and what are its general areas of responsibility? Roland, perhaps we can start with you.
Yes, hello from my side also. About the municipal police force, actually in Estonia, the municipal police is not very common. Despite this fact that the Tallinn Municipal Police Department was established in October 2003, actually in Estonia, there are still only just a few municipalities who have their own police units. In a lot of municipalities, there are just a couple of people doing this work. But yes, in Tallinn, we have quite big unit, and Tallinn Municipal Police Department has 141 employees. and around 100 of them are these officers who are working in the streets and doing work outdoors. And about our responsibility, mostly we have to look after the local legislation, what taken by the municipality, and also we have some state laws, but some paragraphs we have to control also. Let's say parking violations in the city of Tallinn are our responsibility. Also controlling taxi drivers, their licenses, public transport, if they have the permission to drive it or not, and this kind of parts are under our responsibility.
Yeah. Now that's interesting. 141 police officers for 440,000 people. That's not really very many. Where I live in New York City, we have 40,000 police officers in our department. And, you know, granted, we have responsibilities like the United Nations and so forth to protect, but there's also just, I'm going to assume, a lot more crime. You mentioned that there is a municipal force in Tallinn, but not in a lot of other of your communities. Is that because there is a degree of crime in Tallinn? And if so, what are the crimes? We know that there's some pickpocket crimes there. What are the general sort of more challenging crimes that we would expect?
Actually, yeah, because we are we are quite small country, and most of the action has been done by state police, and because of that, the local municipalities, they just don't need to make their own forces, local polices, because they are like on their own pockets, on their own money. It's easier to do other things than this police work in the municipality. And because of that, just a couple of biggest cities have their own municipal forces.
I see. Very good. In terms of crime, what is, I know, as I said, I think there were 187,000 crimes per 100,000 people, or I saw some statistic like that, but what are the crimes generally that most concern you and the police?
If you mean like municipal police, actually we are not dealing straightly, say, with crimes. We have these administration violations, and most time of our patrols are going to parking violations, and after that are coming other things that we have to survive.
Right. Very good. You know, to a New Yorker, that sounds like paradise, to be honest with you. Martin, a big issue today is the levels of trust between our policing and our citizens. And that also applies to the digital environment. There's concerns with trust, intrusiveness, that governments will be prying more into people's lives than ever before. and of course, Estonia represents the sort of the epitome, the peak of good uses of technology. How would you characterize or describe the overall level of trust between, say, the police in Tallinn, the digital groups in government, and your citizens?
Well, trust in towards the police in general is in Estonia very, very high. The police is one of the most trusted institution in the whole republic. So it's they're much more trusted, like, for example, our president or other national institutions. So it's very highly trusted. It's not always liked because, of course, if someone gives you a parking ticket, you don't necessarily love them, but police is trusted, and it's a huge leap that we have been doing during the last 25 years, because the police at that time was quite corrupt, etc. But now it's really trusted,
Yeah.
and it connects very well to our whole approach to our digital services, because we strongly believe that one of the cornerstones behind our e-services success is also the trust. We put a lot of effort in data protection and information security, and it just makes people trust. And I think the police have walked similar path in different domain, but achieved similar results.
Yeah. Just had so many questions from your statement. What levels of technology do police use today? I mean, obviously, for traffic violations, I would assume there's a lot of data that's collected, but what have the police been equipped with regard to technology in Tallinn today?
Actually, if we are talking about municipal police, so we are not very much equipped. Our most tools are smartphones and these tablet computers, and we are most of our work doing with them. And also, yeah, we are going time to time also more digitally, and we are getting already rid of any paperwork. So we are doing everything, all the fines we are doing through the smartphones. We just like if we are doing this fine for the parking violations, we just photo the plate number, and everything already goes automatically that they are going to the databases of the car owner, and where the place is where this violation is committed, and we just print out the ticket, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So from that part, it's already quite faster and very much more comfortable than it was last year. It's quite new thing for us.
Interesting.
We just started it.
But the people still get mad when they get a ticket, right? It hasn't changed that.
Yeah, because this is the thing that these are the most biggest violation. Let's say these parking violations. If we are talking again about them every day, we are doing more than 100 tickets. We give out. And because of that, of course, they don't like us so much. But year by year, also our trust is rising, because there is also a lot of people who take care of that you have to follow the rules, and if the rules are made, so you have to do that. And from that part, it's not so bad anymore, because yeah, we are quite old. We were established like 2003. But we started only with 12 people, and it was for many years we had only very, very small unit. This is like maybe last less than 10 years we have our employees around 100, and patrols are working 24/7 every day on the streets, and we are like rising and rising.
Yeah. Martin, you mentioned the transformation of the police from one that wasn't trusted because of corruption to one that is now even more trusted. I think you mentioned that than the political leadership, which is quite remarkable. What are the most difficult parts of the relationship now between citizens and police? Is in America, for example, we have racial conflicts, which are quite prominent in the news. Are there difficult parts of the relationships? Do you have ethnic challenges in the country, in the city, or things like that?
Yeah, Yeah, I have to disappoint you. There's nothing to point out actually. We have quite a big Russian minority, but there are no conflicts that run on the line of ethical background or racial background or anything like that. So police is widely trusted in every national group among every national group, I think. So actually nothing special to point out.
Right. Is there a use of force policy when someone, say, is drunk or has to be physically apprehended? Do you have policies, and can you maybe just describe them briefly?
Roland, please.
Yeah, if I'm saying from the municipal police part, actually we don't have legislation to use the force. But from other side, we have to also look for public order and take care of that. If there are problems, we have to deal with them. And because of that, the city of Tallinn has, I think, already a couple of times turned to the state that they will change this legislation, that we also can have power to use force, because otherwise it's not very good to deal with this kind of violations. But till now we don't have this power, and if there are some problems on the streets in the public order, that we are afraid that there must be maybe some attacks or something like this, so we have good cooperation with state police, and they will come to help us very quickly in this kind of actions. And they can use force already, and they have the special tools, everything.
As an aside, I recall on my first visit to Tallinn, I was told that Tallinn has more lawyers per capita than any other country in Europe. So your legislation is quite precise, I'm sure, when you write it. One of the questions I was asked by people to ask you is the area of citizen privacy. There's great concern around the world today with the degree of monitoring, camera surveillance, and electronics in place, that the privacy of citizens needs to be respected, and we need to find more efficient ways to do that. Martin, how do you handle the issue of citizen privacy as it relates to the digital infrastructure that you've put in place?
Yeah, it's actually pretty straightforward. Every piece of data we collect or process, there must be a legal background for it. There must be some place in legislation that says that we must provide this or that kind of public service, that data is needed for that. So if we put cameras on a public space, then of course we have to put signs up so people are aware of it, but also we are obliged to use the data only for particular purpose and not use it for anything else. And as you probably have heard, the whole European Union is covered with the General Data Protection Legislation, GDPR.
That's right.
And so basically every form of the facial recognition is forbidden, etc., etc.
That's correct. Which again is not necessarily the case in this part of the West. The one question I got yesterday was Tallinn, like Estonia in general, is recognized for its use of technology, including platforms like the X Road. Can you give us an overview of how X Road or other technologies, innovative technologies, are used in policing? Is it used primarily for data collection or other means?
Yeah, like Roland mentioned, our police is basically digitalized all their processes. If they are issuing a ticket or managing whatever else, like forming a crew and and giving out equipment, whatever, it's covered by electronic process. This X-Road means a nationwide API layer which can integrate different information systems from local and national level, and of course our municipal police, if they start issuing, for example, a parking ticket, the request is made for the national population register, business register, vehicle register, and also nationwide criminal and misdemeanor registers. So there's a lot of interfaces which grant that no manual work has to be done, at least not more than once.
Yeah, you can access the data, much more quickly, which is to the benefit of the citizens.
And of course, we are doing some data analysis to understand what might happen in the future. So that's also part of what we are doing.
Roland, I wanted to ask you, what do you like best about being in the area of policing in Tallinn? What gives you the most satisfaction and enthusiasm?
Actually, as I told in my introduction paper, that I've been most of the time I have served here, been like head of patrol units, because I like it's more different work than you have to deal only with inside workers, and there is happenings all the time, something, and you have to find out something or make some new things. So it's interesting for me.
Yeah,
I like it from that part.
You have to connect dots. You have to assemble things.
It's interesting. It's not getting you don't get tired or something like that don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. As a young man, did you think you would be in this field?
Sorry?
When you were a young man, in grade school or high school, did you think you would be in this area of work?
Actually, yeah, like lot of boys like this fire worker or policeman,
Right.
they are their dreams. So it was one of my also that, and actually it happened that after I graduated high school, I went to the University of Defense Academy, and from that I started my job in state police, and later I joined the municipal police.
Yeah. Has there been anything that's disappointed you about the job? Because when we're young, we fantasize about being firemen, but when we get into a fire, it's like, oh, this is difficult.
I think not, because like I told, I started in the state police. So, and the times were like 90s. It was quite hard times were there. A lot of crimes were in the streets, and it was very interesting from that part. You were young, you were like full of energy, didn't afraid very much. So it was very interesting time. So from that part, I can say it was okay.
Yeah. The other issue that we are looking into, because we hear it everywhere practically, is the issue of mental health and its relationship to policing. We just spoke with some of your colleagues in Hamilton, Canada, and they have a very specific social navigator program which addresses homelessness and its connections to mental health and drug addiction. I noticed when I noted the example of the medical examination for the rifle permit, that there was this examination, and I was wondering, does it include a mental health test? Do either of you know?
Martin, can you?
Yeah, I am pretty sure that that you need to have this medical test before you get the rifle permission, and why we are a bit hesitant is that it's not very common for regular citizen to have a gun. It's quite rare. It's mostly connected with the hunters or people that are firing gun for sports, but it's quite rare for a regular citizen to carry a gun or even have the permission for a gun. But
Yeah.
but you asked for a mental health. I think the mental health is quickly our very quickly rising concern because of the lockdown. This indirect effects of this COVID-19 are getting quickly worse and worse, and the mental health is probably the most significant we are noticing at the moment. Our social department is working heavily, and also the nationwide social institutions are really working heavily, trying to lessen the effect which is showing its signs already quite strongly.
Is that right? You're attributing it to COVID. Roland, are you seeing anything on the streets with citizens exhibiting worse mental health? Have you seen it over the last few years?
Actually, yeah, when this COVID started at the beginning, it was not, it was like ordinary thing on the streets, but now you see that the people are already tired, they are very nervous, they are like attacking, not physically, but attacking like mentally. They are not afraid of everything you're trying to explain, and also it works bad for our officers also, because they also have to follow the rules. They have to be polite. They have to act like good officer, but they also are tired of everything that, and they also may happen that they will also broke or to do what they don't have to do.
Yeah.
It's very rare, but it sometimes also happens.
Yeah.
They also have to like take care, have to keep distance, have to wear masks, everything like that. And after that, they have to do their job also. And yeah, it's quite hard physical thing for them.
Yeah, it is. It's a challenge we don't think about, that our police officers are also experiencing the stresses of COVID with their own situation and their families.
Actually, in my unit, there is also our duty service where the phone calls will be answered, and they are giving the orders to patrols to control, check out something. And for them, this makes more and more problems, because people who are calling, they are getting very fast angry, and they are like saying what they want. They are shouting at this. For them, it's mentally quite hard work started to be. They are saying every time that it wasn't so hard even a couple of months ago, but now people are very tired, and they are just what they want. They say they're shouting on them, and it's quite not normal situation anymore for them.
Yeah, and typically, in my experience with people from Tallinn and Estonia, is you are very reserved, very calm. You have good internal discipline, so it must be incredibly stressful.
For them, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, final question. People want to know how does an intelligent community function day to day? So, Martin, it's nearing the end of the day for you. What does the typical day look like for someone who has a mandate for the digital realm of Tallinn? What will your typical day look like tomorrow?
Well, my job is mostly to get things started, and if my department heads have some kind of problems, I have to solve them. We are in the midst of many projects we are trying to get started. If I think about just tomorrow, we are discussing creating one new mobile app. So that's on my table, and also we are doing some internal trying to lessen a burden for some city officials. So actually, to conclude, it's quite a normal day for me. And when I think about COVID-related tasks, yeah, there are some. Like we just a couple of weeks ago opened big centers for vaccinations, and we had to grant the technical equipment and registration platform and also the call center platform. But if you leave out that, we are doing quite normal things, and we are just doing our everyday work.
Yeah. Well, people are very curious as to what that is, and for people listening to this in the future, when he refers to vaccines, we had a pandemic over the last 2 years, and they're talking about, of course, vaccinations for the pandemic. And hopefully, when people listen to this, it won't be an issue anymore. What was the mobile app? What's the new mobile app that you're creating? Can you tell us?
Yeah, we are preparing for the post-lockdown area, and we are creating local mobile app for our tourists, and also thinking about replacing our public transport ticket with an app. So,
Very good.
So,
Anticipating that day when the tourists start coming back to your beautiful country. Yeah. Roland, how about you? Will you be directing people to write parking tickets, tow away cars, or will there be something else going on tomorrow?
Actually, I have generally the same situation like Martin has. My job is to lead my unit, so the patrols and everybody is going, they are following these work schedules, they are coming to work, they know what they do, and a lot of my time takes to see what kind of applications are coming by internet, and this is the thing I have to deal with. I have to answer them, or I have to send this information to patrols also to check out what's going on, and this is quite how to say, this is the part of my work I'm not very like, but I have to do it, let's say. But all other things is okay, because I have quite big unit. I have almost 70 people in my this patrol unit, so there is a lot of things to do. Yeah. Personal problems and etc.
And if there's one thing and that I would say or recommend to my colleagues everywhere in the world, then it's actually not related to technology at all. I think our leaders, the most important task for us is to lead, and during these times, it's more important than ever. Then you actually, maybe you were able to not lead that much and do some expert work on your own in your position, but these times you really have to lead.
Yes, I think that's very well said, and leadership becomes even more important when there's a crisis, doesn't it? And certainly Tallinn, Estonia has led the world in many things, and of course recently it has become the leader of the intelligent community movement. So I'd like to thank Martin Maniu and Roland Seek for making time for us today. Gentlemen, thank you both for clearing your schedule to speak with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. For
more information about Tallinn, visit tallinn.ee. Tallinn is spelled Tallinn, and again, .ee. Many thanks to ICF Canada and ICF Taiwan for their support for this series. This series is produced as a service to our network of intelligent communities and movement followers around the world. You can learn more about ICF and subscribe to our free content by visiting intelligentcommunity.org. And check us out on Twitter at New Communities and on Facebook. A shout out to our series producer, Matt Owen, and another shout out to our new Smart 21 cities. One of them will succeed Tallinn as the Intelligent Community of the Year. These 21 will be vying to move to the group of 7 finalists in June at our Top 7 Awards Conference. Visit the Intelligent Community website for more information about that. For the Intelligent Community podcast and the world's Intelligent Community of the Year, Tallinn, Estonia, I'm Lou Zaccarella, reminding you that there really is no place like home. Take care, everybody.